Instead,
did he die?
Dropped off.
So he gonna be put on a duck hunter hit list.
However, according to Brendan, the authorities didn't file any charges against the man yet again, citing the same lack of evidence. Though,
there is a new one. 5 most disturbing hunting encounters caught on camera. Go give it a view on his channel, Chilling Scares, one of the best YouTube channels on the planet right now, no joke.
Public is a DIY hunting channel based in Missouri. The Hunting Public
And
is...
again, the other day, I'll say it again, there's no, he don't mess around nothing, he gets straight to business. The second the video's playing, he's already straight to business, man. Zoe with the 5, thank you.
The Hunting Public is a DIY hunting channel based in Missouri. Their primary focus is to educate new and inexperienced hunters, and most of their content follows a very similar format built around that purpose. Their videos show the hunters going to different locations, finding the game, and usually completing the hunt by hand, all while explaining their thought process at each step in detail. And the video they filmed on September 25, 2022 was meant to be no different. 2 of the channel's hosts, Ted and Nick, were out both...
Ted!
hunting deer on public land in their home state. Little did they know, this trip was about to be cut short by the most disturbing encounter they've ever had in the wilderness. The incident happened at roughly 6:45 p.m. while the 2 were hiding in a tree, waiting for a deer, when, out of nowhere, they heard what sounded like a loud scream in the distance.
That's a cat!
It was too distinctly human to be coming from an animal or something similar. And while this was plenty terrifying on its own, it was only the beginning of a much more haunting sequence of events. Because not only did the screaming continue for the next 30 minutes, it also became more manic and blood-curdling with each passing minute.
That's just like a demon in them woods. You better leave at that point, cuh.
Things only became worse when they heard the sound of several gunshots coming from the same direction.
Chat, that's gotta be an animal, bruh. That's gotta be an animal. Come on, man.
Something not good's going on.
You think?
Now, all of this still could have had a perfectly reasonable explanation. Maybe the person screaming was being chased by a predator like a black bear and used their firearm in self-defense. However, what made this explanation unlikely were the few coherent words that could be heard in between the screaming,
What words?
with the voice yelling for help and saying phrases like, "I hate you."
Oh my goodness, that's actually a person.
The voice became even more disturbing after the gunshots, shouting what sounded like, "Somebody help, you effing killed her," and other disturbing phrases.
What? Did they witness a murder?
In addition to the screaming, shouting, and gunshots, the 2 also heard the sound of multiple cars speeding off, after which everything went silent. By now, Ted and Nick were convinced they had just heard a horrific crime take place less than half a mile from their location. Unfortunately, they didn't have cell service in the wilderness to make a report. and the only way out of the woods was in the same direction as the screaming. Getting too close and alerting what could be an armed and dangerous group could have been life-threatening. So they decided to stay silently hidden in the trees for the next few hours, and only moved back after it was completely dark out. The two eventually made it back to their car and drove to a spot with cell reception to report the incident. However, from what I was able to find, the authorities weren't able to locate a body or even find any evidence of a crime at the location Ted and Nick provided, leaving this disturbing encounter unresolved. People on the internet have come up with several theories to explain the situation, ranging from a firing squad execution to someone having a drug-fueled mental breakdown with a gun in their hand. But many have also accused the hunting public of faking the whole thing, which is a common strategy by failing YouTube channels to go viral and gain new viewers. However, the hunting public had a fairly consistent viewership before this video, and it
motion for real.
Didn't increase by a significant amount after the encounter. They also have over 1,400 other regular hunting videos, this being the only one with a strange encounter. Typically, channels that fake videos have other suspicious content. The screams also seemed far too primal and emotional for anyone to fake that convincingly.
That's what I'm saying.
Put simply, what they heard was more than likely real. Unfortunately, it's been over 3 years since the incident, and we still have no answers on what it was all about.
How?
In November 2022, a bow hunter from Michigan named Brendan Fitzpatrick was camping alone inside his hunting blind, waiting for a deer to pop into view, when suddenly he was startled by a voice he didn't recognize. Brendan looked outside to see who it was and came face to face with an angry-looking man pointing an AR directly at him. Brendan tried to explain the situation, but the man wasn't willing to hear any of it and kept becoming more and more hostile.
I'm out there right now.
All right.
But I just want to show you kind of why we're here. We pay good money to hunt this property. We've been hunting it for years.
No, you ain't been moving for years. I've been here 8 years.
Do you live on this property right here?
Sir, you're not listening to me. I'm not.
I just want to talk to you. I'm sorry.
He then told Brendan to put his phone down and said what can only be interpreted as a threat.
Put your phone down.
You have an AR in front of me. I'm scared.
Put your phone down.
Dude, I'm scared as now.
Okay, well, it's going to be more scary. Are you attacking me?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I'm...
You ain't going to talk about some no, sir. You're going to have to shoot me for I talk about some no, sir. You're going to have to kill me out here. I ain't going to tell this dude no, sir. You're going to have to shoot me for I start doing that. Matter of fact, I'm immediately in this situation, you get butt naked. Straight up, you get butt naked and just run at him.
I'm hunting with...
Drop your phone.
Oh my God.
Why are you listening to this goober?
Sir, I'm bow hunting. I don't have any guns on me.
Bro, why would you tell him that, man?
I know that.
Him saying, "Are you attacking me?" while Brendan was doing everything in his power to cooperate and stay calm came off as him looking for an excuse to open fire and claim self-defense later.
Facts.
He also kept ordering Brendan to get out of the area while repeatedly threatening him with his gun and his aggressive-sounding dog. Brendan explained that he wasn't trespassing, and that the land he was on was legally leased for bow hunting, which was true and was something he and his family had been doing for multiple years. However, despite getting a reasonable explanation, the man refused to accept any of it and kept trying to intimidate Brendan. What made the encounter even more unsettling for Brendan was that the man refused to even state his name, making it clear that he had no interest in a civil conversation. Not only that, but he also name-dropped Chai Vang when threatening Brendan, a violent criminal who took the lives of 6 people and injured 2 more members of a hunting party in 2004.
What?
Put simply, the man was insinuating that he was willing to do the same to Brendan if he didn't comply. Fortunately, Brendan was able to stay composed enough to not aggravate the man any further and live to see another day.
I'd have been dead.
Brendan later tried to press charges against the man, but the police weren't as helpful as he'd hoped. They essentially told him that he didn't have enough evidence to start a criminal case against the man and left it at that. However, that wasn't even the end of it, because a year later, on November 25, 2023, Brendan's brother encountered the same man while hunting in the area. Due to what happened the year prior, he made sure to position his tree stand more than 150 yards away from the site of the original confrontation. But for some reason, the man became even more hostile than last time and directly opened fire without saying a word. Luckily, none of the shots actually hit Brendan's brother and he was able to leave the area without getting injured. However, according to Brendan, the authorities didn't file any charges against the man yet again, citing the same lack of evidence. Though People online suspect that the perpetrator might have connections at the local police department, allowing him to threaten the lives of innocent people and not face any consequences. The only silver lining in this disturbing case is that no one was actually hurt. Brendan and his family have also returned to hunting, likely at a completely different location.
What you mean we got no evidence?
On September 10, 2024, at approximately 7:45 a.m., two fishermen were kayaking down Lake Emery in Franklin, North Carolina, when one of them spotted what appeared to be a log drifting in the water ahead. However, something about it didn't feel right. So, Mark Wilkins paddled closer to take a better look, and that's when he made the horrifying discovery. It wasn't a log at all. In reality, he was staring at human remains that had likely been in the lake for multiple days by that point. He was still a bit unsure and thought that maybe it was some Halloween decoration that had found its way into the lake. But the closer he got, the clearer it became. The remains were certainly real. And after taking a couple of minutes to calm his nerves, Mark dialed 911 and told them about his discovery.
I am fishing on Lake Emery and I have come across a dead body.
Are you in the water?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it.
Now there's nothing we can do. Just carry on with your day. Hope ain't the last police department from the last video.
It could, I mean, it looks like a dead body. I mean, there's a hand sticking up. There's a rotted face. I don't know if it's some kind of stupid Halloween spooky thing, but I'm not touching it. So.
Now, discovering human remains like this is disturbing enough on its own. But what made this find even more chilling was the dark implications it suggested. You see, authorities had also found the remains of a 19-year-old boy in the same lake just a month earlier. And if the two cases were connected, it meant that there was possibly a serial killer on the loose in the small town of Franklin. While talking to the police, Mark also remembered seeing a pair of Crocs lying near the boat ramp he used earlier that morning, adding another disturbing layer to an already unsettling situation. That said, the reality of this case turned out to be far more tragic than disturbing.
Oh, Lord.
The person in the lake was later identified as 50-year-old Ethel Marie Ogle. According to the official reports, there was no foul play involved in her death.
R.I.P.
At first glance, duck hunting seems like one of the safest hunting styles out there, especially since it doesn't require hunters to spend any time deep in the wilderness, where running into angry predators like bears or bobcats is a constant concern. However, duck hunting, just like most other outdoor activities, comes with its own set of risks.
Dude, duck hunters, man. No offense if you're a duck hunter, bro, but y'all annoying, bro. I'm not gonna lie. No offense to y'all, bro, but y'all be annoying me so bad. Like, it's so bad. Especially living in one of the, like, duck hunting capitals of the world where I live at, bro. Every time duck season come around, every parking lot filled with nothing but trucks with boats, parking lot filled up, everything just, bro, they everywhere. Every time it's duck season, it just just everywhere. Everywhere you go, you got a whole parking lot full of trucks with boats hooked up to them. They everywhere, they pull out front of you. And a lot of them, I ain't saying it's all of them, a lot of them act like they better than everybody else. Man.
Something Ethan from the Lucas...
Not all of them, but a lot. Dude, you be some duck hunters that think they better than everybody else. Because, man, I'm telling you, bruh.
Reich's YouTube channel became well aware of in November 2020. He was out hunting ducks...
Not all of them, some of them.
...the shotgun early in the morning while the sun was barely up. After staking out on a beach for a few hours and waiting for the ducks to gather, he found a target and managed to shoot it down. The duck fell a bit too far into the water, but without a boat, his only option was to wade into the water to retrieve it. And that's when everything went wrong. Ethan had plenty of duck hunting experience under his belt, but he wasn't completely familiar with this particular lake and didn't know about the sharp drop-off a few feet off the shore. So as he got closer to the duck, the ground suddenly dropped off.
So you're gonna be put on a duck hunter hit list.
From under his feet, leaving him struggling to stay afloat.
No, bro. That's the one thing about them ducks. Them duck hunters, they want them ducks bad.
He also knew how to swim, but that wasn't as good of a help as he'd hoped it to be. The biggest issue at hand were his waders. They became filled with water, sinking him deeper while also making it near impossible to move.
Dude, that's one of the #1 ways people be drowning when they go out. They wear waders, and if the water gets in your waders, you're almost guaranteed dead for real. Bro, if you ever go out with waders on and the water starts going in them things, dude, bro, it's bad.
In the water. Under normal circumstances, staying afloat is relatively easy for anyone who knows what they're doing.
What's that? It's like a big rubber suit that you put on that goes all the way up to your chest, and they're made for like wading in water. That's why they're called waders. It's like a big rubber suit with boots and everything attached. You put them on, you strap them on like overalls, they go up to like right here. But if the water ever fills up them things, hey, GG. GG ski.
However, water-filled waders make this otherwise simple task infinitely more difficult, as drowning becomes a stronger
How do you know? Because I'm from Arkansas.
possibility with each passing second. To make matters worse, the water Ethan was in was also extremely cold. Even if he could stay afloat with heavy waders, he still risked contracting hypothermia and passing out before drowning. The cold water was also tensing up his muscles and making it difficult to keep moving. And to top it all off, he was also completely alone on this trip. Having someone with you on any nature expedition increases the chances of survival exponentially.
Facts.
Even if a partner isn't able to help directly, they can at the very least call for help. Ethan, however, didn't have that option. All he could do was keep his calm and keep swimming toward the shore with all his energy. Fortunately, this worked. After a brief but intense struggle, he was able to find the underwater ledge and make it out relatively unharmed. And while his determination and level-headed approach certainly helped, his surviving the incident was nothing short of incredibly lucky.
Facts.
In May 2017, 45-year-old Richard Wesley was out bow hunting in Ontario, Canada, when he suddenly came face to face with the last animal you want to see in the wilderness.
Oh,
a bear.
Bigfoot!
He initially tried to lay low in the bushes and hoped the bear would walk away without noticing him. Unfortunately,
I
he
think
was
I've seen this.
in a wide open area, resulting in the bear seeing him and coming toward him. One of the only options he really had left at this point was to run away, which, considering a bear's top speed of up to 35 miles per hour, or roughly 55 kilometers an hour, wasn't really possible. Or he could stand his ground and try to scare the bear away before it got too close. Because if the bear actually decided to attack, Richard would have no real way of winning
Never
that
run.
fight.
There's a rule with bears, and it rhymes. Type 1 if you want to hear it. This is the rule with bears, black bears, grizzly bears, polar bears. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, good night. So if it's a black bear, you try to scare it off. If it's a brown bear, lay down, act like you're dead. If it's a polar bear, you're just dead.
Black bears can generate a bite force of up to 1,000 psi with their 2.5-inch long
We've all heard it. Bro, shut up! There's people in here that hasn't heard that term. Type 1 if you've never heard that term before, right there. Yeah, look at all them people saying I haven't heard that. That's the easiest way to remember what to do if you see black bear, fight back. Brown, lay down. White, say your prayers, cause you're gonna die. I probably just saved somebody's life. Actually, I probably just saved somebody's life in the future. It could be 10, 20 years from now. I just saved somebody's life. Because you're always going to remember. I don't know much about bears, but I've always remembered that term because it's catchy and it's easy to remember. You know what I mean? So I know what to do.
teeth, which is enough to easily fracture a human skull or even sever the head completely from the neck. Adult black bears can also weigh up to 600 pounds or 272 kilograms. In other words, once a black bear is on top of you, there's no practical way to get it off. Plus, the weight alone can also cause a
Thank you, CaseOh. There was a bear outside my window right now, and I had no clue what to do. You just saved my life. No need to call me a hero. I'm just doing what I need to do.
asphyxiation within seconds. Not to mention the 2-inch long claws that can leave deep lacerations down to the bone. So even if the bear decided to leave Richard alone after a single claw swipe, he would have likely bled out right there before help arrived. With all this in mind, he stood up and tried to intimidate the bear. Unfortunately, this backfired horribly. Instead
Did he die?
of running away, the bear lunged at Richard and slammed into the ground. For a moment, he thought this was the end. But as he was falling down, something exceptionally lucky happened. The wooden bow Richard was holding in his hand got shoved into the bear's jaw. This not only kept the bear from shredding his arm, but biting into the wood also disoriented it enough to make it turn and leave Richard alone. So, despite coming dangerously close to losing his life, Richard was able to walk away with only a few minor bruises. But while he escaped physical harm, the psychological
Bro thought he was gone.
impact of this attack on him and his family was significant. As he stated in an interview later, "We watched the video footage. My stomach just tightened, and my wife started crying. Instead of admitting that I'm scared, and I probably should have went and talked to a professional about what happened, but I just downplayed it."
Dude, that's
That said, the
crazy.
experience also left Richard with a far deeper appreciation for the life he has.
Facts. That's why I appreciate wildlife from a distance. Like, I think bears and stuff are cool, but if I see one, I'm immediately going the other way. I'm talking, there ain't gonna be like a couple seconds I sit there and look at it and be like, yo, that's a bear. If I see a bear, I'm immediately going the other way. I don't care if it's 400 yards away, actually. I'm out of there.